Have you ever felt that you understand a verse, but something inside refuses to move? Where does that resistance come from? And what happens if it is ignored long enough? Surah Al-Baqarah, verses 92 to 93, are not only historical accusations aimed at a vanished people, they are also mirrors. They ask a terrifyingly intimate question: how often does the heart claim faith while secretly nursing idols within itself? Listen carefully, because if these verses are allowed to descend fully, they do not pass through the body unchanged. Verse 92. Indeed, Moses came to you with clear signs, then you took the calf after him while you were wrongdoers. And indeed, Moses came to you with clear signs. In the Sufi vision, Moses is not only a prophet of history, he is the symbol of awakened intellect guided by divine command. The clear signs are not just miracles of the staff or the sea, they are moments of unmistakable inner clarity. Every seeker receives such signs, flashes of truth, moments when the heart knows without doubt. These are the times when the soul says, "This is real. This is the way." Yet clarity is not permanence. The tragedy of the path is not ignorance, but forgetfulness after knowing. The verse begins by reminding us, guidance did arrive. Confusion later cannot be blamed on lack of light. Let this sink in. The problem is rarely that God did not speak. The problem is that the soul did not remain listening. Then you took the calf after him. The calf is one of the most dangerous symbols in spiritual psychology. It is not merely an idol. It is an idol made after revelation. The calf represents the ego's counterfeit spirituality, something that looks comforting, familiar, even sacred, but is hollow inside. In Sufi language, the calf is attachment clothed as devotion. It is power mistaken for truth, ritual mistaken for presence, emotion mistaken for certainty. It is the moment when the heart says, "I want God, but on my terms." Notice the timing: after Moses, after guidance, after certainty. This is not naive error. It is conscious substitution. The seeker replaces the living, demanding call of truth with something easier to control. When this verse is recited slowly, many feel a subtle heat in the chest, because the calf is not ancient. It is current. While you were wrongdoers. In Sufi understanding, wrongdoing is not merely injustice toward others. It is injustice toward one's own soul. To turn away from truth after recognizing it is to suffocate the heart's natural orientation. The soul is created with a direction. When it is forced to bow elsewhere, an inner tension begins. That tension is what people often mistake for anxiety, restlessness, or spiritual dryness. It is the soul protesting against being bent away from its axis. Wrongdoing here is misalignment. Verse 93. And when we took your covenant and raised the mount above you, saying, "Hold firmly to what we have given you and listen." They said, "We hear and we disobey." And their hearts were made to drink the calf because of their disbelief. Say, how evil is what your faith commands you if you are believers? And when we took your covenant. The covenant is not just Sinai, it is also the primordial promise, Alastu bi Rabbikum, the moment every soul testified to divine lordship. Sufis understand this covenant as an echo that never fades completely. Even the most distracted heart carries a faint memory of belonging. Every time truth stirs discomfort inside you, that is the covenant knocking. This verse reminds us that faith is not a contract signed once. It is a living bond that demands renewal through presence and sincerity. And raise the mount above you. The mountain symbolizes overwhelming reality. When divine truth manifests without veils, the ego trembles. The raising of the mount is the moment when the soul realizes, this is not optional. In spiritual experience, there are moments when the weight of truth feels unbearable, when surrender feels frightening, because it threatens identity. The mount is raised not to crush, but to awaken seriousness. Sufis say, when truth becomes heavy, it is because the ego is still resisting gravity. Hold firmly to what we have given you and listen. Holding firmly does not mean rigid literalism. It means presence. To hold firmly is to let revelation descend from the tongue into the heart, and from the heart into action. And then comes the most subtle command: listen. True listening is obedience before movement. It is silence inside. Many hear revelation, but few listen to it. Listening requires the ego to pause, and the ego hates pauses. They said, "Oh, we hear and we disobey." This is one of the most shocking confessions in the Qur'an. Usually hypocrisy hides. Here it speaks openly. In Sufi psychology, this phrase describes the split soul. The intellect recognizes truth, but desire refuses to follow. The ears receive, but the will rebels. This is not denial. It is defiance dressed as awareness. Many seekers live in this state without naming it. They know what heals them, yet avoid it. They know what harms them, yet protect it. Saying we hear satisfies conscience. Saying we disobey satisfies ego. This inner contradiction creates spiritual numbness. The body feels heavy. The heart feels dull. Worship feels mechanical. And their hearts were made to drink the calf. This is among the most terrifying spiritual descriptions in the Quran. The calf is no longer outside, it is ingested. To drink something spiritually means it becomes part of one's inner composition. The heart begins to crave what once merely tempted it. Attachment becomes appetite. Sufis warn, repeated disobedience does not just distance one from truth, it reshapes desire itself. The heart starts loving what veils it. Many feel this verse physically, a tightening in the throat, a sinking in the stomach, because it describes addiction of the soul, because of their disbelief. Disbelief here is not atheism. It is a lack of trust. It is refusing to rely fully on the unseen. When trust collapses, substitutes rush in. The calf is born where certainty in God dies. Disbelief in Sufi language is when the heart seeks security in anything other than the eternal. Say, how evil is what your faith commands you if you are believers? This is a devastating inversion. If what you call faith leads you away from humility, compassion, surrender, and truthfulness, then something is deeply wrong. Sufis read this as a warning against ego-based religiosity. Faith that feeds pride, aggression, or spiritual superiority is not light. It is a disguised idol. True faith softens the body, loosens the tongue, and humbles the heart. If belief hardens you, interrogate it. Closing contemplation. These verses do not accuse a nation, they diagnose a condition. Every seeker stands daily between reality and the calf, between listening and resisting, between surrender and substitution. The question is not whether you have idols. The question is whether you recognize them before they are drunk by the heart. Sit with this quietly. Feel where the resistance lives in your body. That sensation is not your enemy. It is an invitation. If this reflection stirred something inside you, if you felt discomfort, warmth, or silence, do not rush away. Stay with the Quran. Stay with the questions it awakens. Share this message with someone who is walking the path but struggling in silence. Subscribe not for content, but for companionship on the inner journey. And return again, because these verses do not end when the recitation ends. They begin there.